Let's get into it, man. We got scores up. You know what? I don't want to do this without some scores music. So let's hit some scores music while we're at it right now. So let's go look in the MLR because we got to keep it our domestic, baby. Of course, if you're overseas or from everywhere else, like still, you get it. All right, number one, let's take a look at these scores. We have Dallas Jackals absolutely murdering the Anthem 68-28 last week. We had Los Angeles taking out San Diego, losing to San Diego 19-18 on the road. We had Utah Warriors versus Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks struggling for a win, 23-14. Houston SaberCats take to the Miami Sharks at home. Miami Sharks really trying to find their way, winning 30-19. SaberCats with Miami Sharks. We got DC Old Glory, Chicago Hounds, and a good old-fashioned weather system. I mean, a draw going 22-22. And then lastly, of course, we have New England Free Jacks over Precious Nola Gold, winning at home 27-21 in a close nail-biter one, which I really feel like, again, I'm hyped Nola Gold. They're much better than they have been the last 6 years. And one game that we want to also talk on is the fact that we're seeing start to rise, as well as we do that two real main bets to be able to win the last of that. It's looking really, really tough. I don't think that there is anything that can be taken away from that one. But this is still anybody's game. We're still early in the season. So obviously it's 3 of like 20. So what are we going to do on that one? So let's look forward, because I don't want to hit these up by its moment. We look forward to these games. I'm not going to hit every single one of them, but I want to hit the ones that I think is most important. Number one, Seattle Seawolves. SaberCats on the road to Seattle. That is probably going to be the game of the week. Both of them, number 1 and number 2 in the standing, both of them absolutely are real gritty whenever it comes to their play. But right now, I want to honestly say that I think that the Houston SaberCats probably are playing a lot cleaner than Seattle Seawolves. Don't get me wrong, Seattle Seawolves are dangerous. They're fast. Their defense has been ridiculous. But I think Houston SaberCats are a smoother team, and we can take percent for the last couple of years now, and I think they're starting to hit their peaks on that one. The other game that I think is really, really important that we need to go take a look at is also going to be Nola Gold versus Dallas Jackals. Now, if we had said that last year, we would have been laughing our butts off about how that is a game that nobody really should care about, because neither of these teams are doing anything. But New Orleans Gold, even though they've been having a lot of trouble when it comes to their kicking, they have been able to come back. They played poorly in the first half, absolutely still in the second half. But the Dallas Jackals are not anything to play with. They have been absolutely showing their full selves this year. I think the 2 years of development is starting to come to fruition. And they're at home, which is a tough one. And it's going to be in Dallas as it's getting hotter. I mean, both these teams understand heat, but Dallas at home is starting to pick up. But I do think Nola Gold are going to take this one very, very easily. And of course, you got Old Glory, San Diego Legion. I think Old Glory is going to be able to handle themselves. Miami First Anthem. This might be the worst game, but ironically, the best of the expansion teams. LA takes on the Utah Warriors at home, and I think Warriors are going to take ass. Miami Sharks, Anthem Rugby. Honestly, I think the Sharks are going to win. They're at home. If it doesn't rain, it might actually be the first clean game that they actually played this entire season. The Anthem is just too young. They're too inexperienced. They need like 3 years to be able to really set their bases. So I'm not even worried about them like getting into position or winning anything this year. They just need to be progressive. Just progressive from time to time. Then, of course, we got Chicago Hounds and New England Free Jacks, which honestly, I think it's a first game. I don't think the Free Jacks are as good as I thought that they were, but I don't think the Chicago Hounds are at the level of New England, even though they got the talent. So, watch of a game. I'm probably going to still lean New England on it. I think, they might have the target on their back. All right, let's look into NRL. Obviously, last week we talked to my guy, Jason Bray, to be able to talk a little NRL. He's not going to be doing it this week. Scores from that week, we had the Broncos beating the Rabbits 28-18. We had the Sharks beating Bulldogs 25-6. Panthers beat down the Parramatta Eels 26-18. Raiders over West Tigers 32-12. Cowboys over Knights 21-20. Storm over Warriors 30-26, which is a big deal. Sea Eagles over Roosters 21-14. Dolphins over Dragons 38-0. Great home wins. Great home wins. I'll be honest with you, that actually is a kind of a terrible week. Only week 2 of 27, but that's a terrible week. If no road teams were able to get a win, all right, you feel that in your chest. So I feel for them on this one. Again, it's shout out. I don't think there's much to say when it comes to the NRL. And like this week, everybody basically did what they were supposed to do. Broncos, Rabbitohs, it was Broncos are the defense running up, so they're going to pick up. But that being said, I think this week is not as much interest, but next week is going to be massive. And so looking at the game, I'm going to be talking about a couple games that I think will really be able to watch. Number one, first and foremost, Panthers versus Broncos is a repeat of last year's, which was really like July's championship game. Panthers won that championship game. Close one. Broncos, like my Jason said last week, a game that shall not be mentioned, but it will be. This is going to be a big one, especially for the Broncos. They need to be able to get on the roll. Panthers are middle of the road as well, but again, long season, and they're all descending upwards in their own way. Look at Broncos. Probably keep this one out. I think this is not going to be the week where we get this great home wins the entire time. I think the Broncos do it, especially as the bench game. Panthers are going to lose this one, but I don't think it affects it. The other one that I think is really actually interesting to also look at is the Parramatta Eels versus the Sea Eagles. Mainly Sea Eagles absolutely have been, they're doing it. 2-0 so far. Did in Vegas, did at home, and the Parramatta Eagles are going to be on the road, are going to be at home. Sea Eagles on the road. I think the Sea Eagles are simply a better team for what it looks. But Parramatta Eels are defending. Once again, we're seeing the percent. They already got they already got their win from their loss from last week. So it's a good one to get the percent back from. And of course, they got their eye on it. Apparently, a rivalry team. I do think that the Eagles will win this one on the road. But it's going to be anybody's game from that one. And the rest of it, like, is Roosters, Rabbitohs. I think it's a solid game. I don't think it's that interesting. Warriors, Raiders could be pretty interesting. I just don't know that much about it. West Tigers versus Sharks. Bulldogs versus Titans. Bulldogs at home. And Knights versus Storm. Storm are on the road. I think this one is actually going to be really advantageous for the Storm. They should be able to clean up on that. All right. Going to Super Rugby. All right. Last week, man, no one would have ever thought that if you would have said 3 years ago, man, the Crusaders would have been on a 5-game losing streak, basically. No one would believe it. The Crusaders in New Zealand have been the best team, but they lose again, 10-15 to the Hurricanes at home. That's a big one. At home. Massive. All right, you got Rebels versus Reds. Rebels lose 26-53, predicted last week by Jason. Absolute wash. Reds doing exactly what they do. Of course, lose at home to the Moana Pacifica, 22-14. Shout out to the Tongues, holding down the fort and not letting themselves be considered the worst team in the league right now. Brumbies beat the Highlanders on the road, 27-21. Another New Zealand team falling to Australian team. Big shout out to Australia. That's whenever your union is altering so hard, still getting the wins when it matters. Chiefs beat the Drua, protecting their house. Chiefs from New Zealand, 46-29. I really was hoping that Fiji and Drua were going to keep it closer than that, but they didn't. It's okay. Fiji and Drua are going to always be up and down. Again, I think next week is going to be a better showing for them. And then Waratahs fall to the Blues on the flip side of the Highlanders and Brumbies, falling 12-10 at home. And you can't lose at your house, but I'm also glad that this is not, once again, a watch of road teams absolutely killing it, because it really was looking like that for a minute there. But again, good game. Again, the Blues are one of the best teams in rugby right now. Like, they're doing what they're supposed to do. Like, again, everyone did basically what they're supposed to do, except for the Crusaders, who are just sucking. They're just sucking. And this next week is not going to be any better. So let's look into it real quick. Like I said, the game I would look, Crusaders lose. The Blues are the best team. Absolutely murdering it. Crusaders are going to have another loss. I don't see them winning for a minimum of 2 more weeks, including this upcoming week. A minimum of 2 more weeks. They're going to get themselves together because your playoff hopes are quickly diminishing. Other games to look at, Chiefs Islanders, another great matchup. So I think the Chiefs are going to have the advantage on this one and be able to really go out. There's not too much I want to say on that one. The game that I have the most interest on is Team Tua versus the Waratahs. Waratahs are again, solid team. Even though we saw that they lost last week against the Blues, it was against the Blues. The big thing with the Virginia Tua is that they are in Fiji. Man, I talked about this on Rugby Odds, on Rugby Wrap-Up. But, man, the Virginia Tua are a team that needs the power of their people to be able to really accelerate. Virginia Tua are so deadly at home, and I expect them to absolutely crush this Waratahs team that's going to be traveling. Like, this is a real one. Like, oh, my God, I am hyped. This is one that I am going to look forward to watch Friday morning because, not about 12 hours late on this one. And then the last games are Brumbies versus Moana Pacifica. Brumbies for the league team and Hurricanes versus Rebels. Rebels struggling, but the Hurricanes, I think, glad to end up getting the win. Not really much to say in that one, from my knowledge, but it's all good. All right, let's go quickly to URC. I know I'm running through these fast. There's other stories I want to get to, but I think it's really important to get to them. We got Munster over Zebri, 45-29. Edinburgh over Ospreys, 19-15. Lions over Sharks, 40-10. Benetton over Glasgow. Benetton losing to Glasgow, 19-9. Bulls over Stormers, 40-22. No surprise, Bulls are the best team coming out of South Africa. Clonic versus Scarlet, 26-10. Cardiff losing to Leinster, 33-20, because Cardiff and basically all of Wales is just hot garbage right now. And Ulster over Dragon, 49-26. Again, nothing really significant. I think the Bulls are going to be one of the 2 playoff teams. I think they're going to be one of the 2 teams come out of this. Glasgow Warriors, another Irish team doing what they're supposed to do. Conic, another Irish team doing what they're supposed to do. Lions being the second best team in South Africa. Again, not super a whole lot to say. I don't think anybody did anything super surprising. No really big upset. Coming for this one, again, nothing really stand out to me for the games coming up. Glasgow Warriors are going to be taking on Cardiff. That's going to go to Glasgow Warriors. Ospreys over Munster. Munster's going to beat Ospreys. And Ospreys are at home. Sharks versus Ulster. Sharks are at home. South Africa tends to do well. Ulster, again, Wales. I don't know. Anyways, whoever comes to South Africa tends to lose when they come out from Europe. So I'm giving that to Scarlet versus Benetton. Benetton, not bad, but it's Scarlet, Wales. Benetton will probably get the win on that one. Stormers versus Edinburgh. You're coming down to South Africa, you're gonna lose. Conic, so give that one to the Stormers. Conic going against the Lions. Lions are going up to Ireland. Conic is gonna wipe out the Lions. Bulls versus the Dragons. Dragons are going down to the Bulls. Bulls are traveling to the Dragons. The Bulls are the best team in South Africa. They're one of the best teams in the URC. Bulls are going to wipe out the Dragons. And Leinster versus Zebri. Leinster over Zebri because Zebri is just not that good. And Leinster is just mediocre.
Don't you love a great ketogenic family? My name is Gifte Belu. I'm here with Health Enhanced Food. I wanted to talk to you about one of our top baking mixes, and that is our ketogenic baking mixes. We got a ketogenic seed baking mix, our ketogenic almond baking mix, and of course, our ketogenic coconut baking mix. Now, what is so important about it being ketogenic? Now, for those who don't know, ketogenic means that it is utilizing low carbs to be able to eat from. The point of it is so that your body will naturally activate burning from your fat and be able to sustain off your proteins rather than feeding your body carbohydrates and your body simply burning that and you just don't lose weight. And so whenever you're doing that process, it's incredibly difficult. And of course, you're always going to have a craving for wanting to eat the breads and the carbs that you typically would have. With our keto baking mixes, you can have the pancakes, the waffles, the cookies, the cakes, the pizza crust that you absolutely desire without sacrificing the work, your diet, and obviously the results that you are trying to get. All our ketogenic baking mixes are gluten-free, grain-free, plant-based, and absolutely loaded with natural vitamins and minerals. We want to make sure that they are low net carb, they have no added sugar, they are protein rich, they have good healthy fats, but even more importantly, they have a low glycemic level. So for those who are diabetic and you're also still trying to find something, we have the baking mixes that are for you. And I'm sure you're wondering, why make 3 versions of them if they all are basically doing the same thing? Well, we wanted to make sure, as always, that we are trying to specialize to your dietary need. So with our ketogenic coconut, we wanted to give you a version that allows you to have a sweeter bread without sacrificing your diet. But it provides you things that you can make with your cakes, you can make your cookies, but you can be able to not have to lose your mind trying to find things that can satiate the taste without ruining your diet. With our ketogenic almond baking mix, that is one that has probably the highest protein content. It allows you to be able to control your blood sugar levels, reduce your blood pressure, lower cholesterol levels, and of course, goes to promoting weight loss and being able to control the hunger. And for our ketogenic seed, this is for those who have a nut allergy and they can't take anything like the almonds. So we want to give them still the same thing. You can still make your bread. You can still make your pizza crust. You can still make your cakes and your buns and your muffins, but you don't have to worry about having an allergic reaction. You definitely can go check out the ketogenic line of products at healthenhancedfoods.com. Go ahead, keep up with your diet, get the foods that are necessary to keep you going, and let's get the results that you absolutely deserve. Let's go.